Magic's quality has been dwindling, yet they continue to prosper. In 2020 alone, they made $581.2 million. That's a big sum of money, a 27% increase from their 2019 earnings. Pretty comedic considering the company owning them, Hasbro, faced an 8% decrease in profits during the same year. So, through all the complaints against the decrease in card quality and a slew of questionable products, why do they continue to prosper? This is because Magic is changing and is unopposed. The supposed problem with Magic stems from the core concept of it. Beyond the cards, the color wheel, the infinite combos, what is the purpose of Magic? To better explain this, let's take a brief look back at its beginnings. Dr. Richard Garfield, Magic's creator, has had a fascination with games ever since he was young. His father was an architect, so during his youth, Garfield traveled to Bangladesh and Nepal on his father's work projects. Unable to speak the native languages of these places, Garfield should have been a complete foreigner. Despite this, he was able to play cards and marbles with the local kids. Games such as these transcended the language barrier for Garfield and allowed him to form connections with people he otherwise would have never been able to communicate with. Once back in the States, Garfield would soon begin work on a game of his own. Inspired by Dungeons and Dragons, he developed a game called 5 Magics. The basic concept of this game would revolve around 5 elemental magics, based on geographically diverse areas. While growing up, he would continue to refine and change this game. Despite this, Garfield never intended to publish this game. Later in Garfield's life, he would come in contact with Wizards of the Coast, a small game publishing company, in order to publish a game. This game, however, was not 5 Magics, rather a completely different game called Robo Rally. In Robo Rally, players maneuvered robots through a factory filled with hazards. Peter Adkison, Wizard's CEO at the time, was impressed by the game. However, he found it too complex, making it a risk to publish. Instead, Adkison told Garfield that he was looking for a portable game that could be played during the downtime in gaming conventions. To tackle this problem, Garfield shifted his focus to designing a card game. This card game would come to incorporate his 5 Magics concept, in which the cards would be color-themed. He believed that each player would be able to assemble a deck that would capture a part of their identity. Garfield would then meet with Adkison to propose this new idea. While the game pivoted on this color identity system and being a portable means to express oneself, Adkison focused on the profitability of it. He saw the potential of an indefinite print line as more and more cards were produced. Later writing in an Usenet post, if executed properly, the cards would make us millions. Adkison quickly funded Garfield, bringing his dream of 5 Magics to fruition, rebranded and released as Magic: The Gathering in the summer of 1993. Present here is 2 varying viewpoints, both on Magic's direction. One, characterized by Richard Garfield, is a dream of creating another language, a language that is easy to follow and captivates, providing an arsenal of tools for self-expression. Each of the cards can be assembled into a masterpiece, individually serving their own purpose and working towards the greater goal of the deck. Embedded in deck crafting is the player's personality, each choice of card telling a story of the heart, depicting what type of person that player is, whether they are aggressive, gentle, scheming, and even showing their likes and dislikes. If they were to like a certain animal, for example, they could jam-pack their deck, that story, with all the cards of that animal they could find. This form of expression, this language, is what Garfield saw all those years ago, playing cards and marbles with the Nepal and Bangladesh locals. It's being able to gather over a game and both share things about yourself and have a blast, to form bonds over the games, bonds that may have never ever been formed otherwise. The other viewpoint, characterized by Wizards of the Coast, is a dream of exponential wealth. With the promise of an indefinitely expanding product, it's easy for a company to channel its focus on solely that aspect. With each new expansion, each new product, the game can continually grow in profit as the players continue to consume. The products then become valued only on their profitability. Both these viewpoints exist to this day, but recent times show a heavier focus on the dream of exponential wealth. Exclusive bundles like Secret Lair charge extraordinarily high prices, while only including a few supposedly high quality and exclusive cards. In tandem, poor quality cards flood the player base, ranging from bad cuts, poor printing, and Pringled foils. Practices such as these seek solely to maximize Magic's profits, exploiting the player base. So, I believe this is a problem, and so do many others. Countless complaints have been made against these poor practices, yet these practices still exist. Wizards of the Coast has no reason to listen to these complaints, however. After all, they are still seeing exponential growth. It's a company's right to do whatever they please, in pursuit of whatever ideals they hold. But the profitability of a company lies solely on the consumer, the player base. If you see the recent card quality or product as exploitative, you can complain all you want, but to what avail? Remember that continuing to buy into that product is feeding that company you deem as exploitative. May a broad stroke of the consumer shift the core concept back to what Richard Garfield wanted.